We have the top flavor maven joining us. This is the guy who literally introduced flavors of like umami to the U.S. And we are going to be eating a salmon, cold salmon in a light white sauce with Cabernet wine. What? You think I'm crazy, don't you? But actually, there's a way to do it. Flavor is distinct for every taste. No, we're not actually going to be drinking wine. We're going to be talking the flavors of wine with the flavor maven. This man is going to teach us why balancing flavors in your food creates the perfect dish to go with any wine. That's coming up on 4 News Weekend. So there are five senses, you know that. There are also 5 basic flavors. And Tim Hanni is the flavor maven. This is a guy, he is a chef. He's also a master of wine. And he's the guy that teaches a lot of the chefs about flavors. So real quickly, first of all, what are the 5 flavors that everybody has?
5 basic tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami taste, which is the yumminess that you find in all sorts of food, from fruits, vegetables, meat, seafood, everything.
Yumminess, that's a technical term that chefs use.
That's right.
Okay, now, this man has come up with this concept of flavor. I don't know if you came up with it, but flavor balancing, which sounds boring because it sounds like if you balance flavor, it doesn't taste like much.
Right.
Wrong. So would you please explain to them, because I am sold on this concept.
Great. All right. So all we're going to do is we've got some plain asparagus in there. Take a bite.
Okay. So this is the plain asparagus.
Plain asparagus.
Okay.
Yep. Now I'm going to have you sip your wine after this, and the reason is because
asparagus, it's just about time for wine.
Yeah, because it's time for wine, and asparagus has a lot of umami taste that makes the wine bitter. It's brush teeth, drink orange juice. So that's all going on. Now, the asparagus is great, but try a bite of this asparagus that has the Vignon flavor balancing seasoning on it.
Okay, so this has got a balanced season.
Yeah. Yummy.
And
yeah, kids eat more. What we didn't know is we were trying to solve a problem with wine and food from work I've been doing for 20 years, renouncing wine and food matching. What we found is this is the core of how to make really great food, period. Now try your wine.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I still want to get to the point, though. What you've done is you've put every flavor, every one of those 5 flavors onto the asparagus. Go ahead.
Just 3.
Just 3.
This is specially selected sea salt. Mm-hmm. It is umami in the seasoning, but in the form of shiitake mushrooms, Parmesan cheese, soy sauce, tomatoes, onions, and lots of vegetables.
Right.
And then lemon juice for the acidity, which is critical. Mm-hmm. And once you've got those components, this is the fundamentals of great cuisine in Burgundy and Alsace and Bordeaux and Tuscany. And when you do it, your food tastes great, the foundation, then all the flavors pop on top of it.
Okay, I still help me out here to explain to people. You've got this concept of balance. What you're doing is you're laying sort of a foundation of flavor, and then the individual foods or the seasonings that you add on top of it somehow pop better.
Yes.
Is that the idea?
Yeah. As we were going along, and the reason I work with so many chefs, like Michel Trama, who's a 3-star Michelin chef in France, Jeremiah Tower's a huge proponent, a lot of winery chefs, John Ash, Sarah Scott are all part of this movement. Once you get that foundation, then everything is just absolutely clear in terms of the flavor of everything else.
Right.
So, and that's the dishes. Try a bite of the tomato, and again, this is a 10-year-old's recipe. Connor Stallcup came up with this recipe, and it's basil, mozzarella, tomato, and Vignon. Nothing else. No fat, no oil, no vinegar, nothing.
And so I got to explain, folks, that you don't have to. I mean, you could come up with your own flavor. No, not yet, Dean. Don't give the plug yet.
Yeah, that's right.
You could come up with your own flavor balancing.
Right.
I mean, you can do this on your own.
Yep.
So, but this guy, he's the flavor maven. So, how do you turn that into a retail product? And this is not like a paid commercial or anything, folks.
Yeah.
I'm just impressed. He got together with some chefs and he came up with something called Vignon, and this is sort of the basic, the seasoning that you would put on. Sort of before you put on the other seasonings?
Everything. Every time when you're cooking, you reach for salt. Just reach for this. For risottos, for soups, for stews. One of our favorite things.
Wait, does that sound like a commercial? Folks,
I know.
I'm sorry. I don't want this to sound like a commercial.
But you can also come to the Culinary Institute, call me on the phone, email me. I'll tell you how to do it. But there's over 20 different ingredients that are all these little pieces to making stuff really, really rock with flavor. Make a salad and use half the dressing and a little bit of that, and it's like you've added twice as much dressing.
Right.
So this is the wacko dish. So as you notice, the asparagus made the wine smooth and back to its beautiful balance.
Right.
So instead of trying to figure out what goes with asparagus, have great asparagus, cook it properly, season it intelligently with flavor balance, whether it's Vignon or however you do it, and your wine's great. Now try a bite of this salmon.
Now this is a light white sauce.
This is a little bit of cream, sherry, salmon and mushrooms in a pot boiled lightly, and that's it. Now I put a little tarragon in there.
Excellent.
Now try your Cabernet. Now of course,
Sacre bleu! Please, no. Salmon, cold salmon.
that's right. I mean,
cream
there's a lot of
sauce with-
people. What's really fun is there's a lot of articles of people who have never tried this, who just hate my guts because it's all the wrong things. But the wine's balanced,
And it
it's
works.
smooth and refreshed. And when you go back to the dish, it's not going to overpower it or do these things. Try a mushroom. This is what I'm talking about, the respect of the individual flavors of the dish. I mean, it really just pops with mushroominess.
Delicious. You know, I almost wish you hadn't come up with a product.
Thank you.
I wish you hadn't. Because then this would sound like an educational segment.
Right.
But there is an easier way to do it. It's his product. It's called Vignon, so I gave you the plug.